Despite having managers like Mauricio Pochettino, Thomas Tuchel, and Graham Potter available, England has continued to stick with Gareth Southgate for the past 8 years. This has caused him to be the most divisive manager of all time despite being statistically the second most successful. But how did he get to this point? It all started in 2006 when Gareth Southgate was appointed manager of Middlesbrough after the departure of Steve McLaren. Despite not meeting the requirements to manage in the Premier League since he didn't have his required UEFA Pro license, he was granted special dispensation so he could manage in the Premier League while he was working towards his qualifications. Under McLaren, the team had been a stable mid-table team. In the 2005/2006 season, they finished 6th. Gareth Southgate built on this in his first season in charge and took the team to 12th place, which was a respectful finish. They even had some impressive wins, like the 4-1 win over Bradford Wanderers and their 3-1 win against Fulham. Gareth Southgate's second year saw some big signings, including Egyptian striker Mido and Turkish forward Tunke Sanli, who went on to become a key player for the team. However, despite these transfers, the team saw a slight dip, with inconsistency being a big problem as the team finished in 13th place, but they still were able to comfortably avoid relegation. Southgate continued into his third season as Middlesbrough's manager looking to build and try to achieve their best finish yet. However, after a promising start, a lack of consistency in form and injuries, and a lack of goals with their top scorer Tunke only managing 7 goals in the league. This team was relegated from the Premier League after finishing 19th, a disappointing outcome for both the club and Southgate. He continued to manage Middlesbrough at the start of the 2009-2010 championship season. However, just like other season, after a promising start, when the form again dipped, he was dismissed in October 2009. During his time at Middlesbrough, Southgate primarily played the 4-4-2 and sometimes the 4-5-1 with an emphasis on defensive solidity, aiming to build a strong and organized backline. Southgate mainly used a counter-attacking strategy, using his defense to absorb by sitting back and then quickly transitioning to attack. Along with counter-attacks, his team was also very good at set pieces, being strong both defensively and offensively, working hard on them on the training ground. After a 3-year break in 2013 where he reflected and developed, Southgate took charge of England's under-21 side. He learned what he was best at: nurturing young talent and promoting a positive, inclusive culture, something he has brought to the England first team when he got there. Under his guidance, the under-21 side qualified for the 2015 European Under-21 Championship in the Czech Republic. The qualification campaign was notable for its strong defensive performances, letting in few goals. When the team got to the European Championships, however, England's performance in the tournament was disappointing as they were eliminated in the group stage after 1 win, 1 draw, and 1 loss. The team came in with high expectations, however they struggled to find consistency and were unable to progress to the knockout stages despite having talents like Harry Kane, John Stones, and James Ward-Prowse. In 2016, after the departure of Sam Allardyce, Gareth Southgate was appointed as the interim manager of the England senior team, a team that had previously failed to win anything since 1966 despite all the world-class talent they have had. In Euro 2004, England went out in the quarterfinal, and in World Cup 2006, they also went out in the quarterfinal. Then, in 2008, they didn't even qualify for Euro 2008, followed by getting destroyed by Germany, scraping their way through the group stage, and then going out again in the quarterfinals, followed by another quarterfinal defeat in Euro 2012. Then, worse than all that, finishing bottom of the group in the 2014 World Cup. Then, the bad form continued as they lost to Iceland in Euro 2016. Southgate's calm demeanor and ability to connect with players earned him the permanent role. Southgate took charge of England's World Cup qualifying, where they qualified for the 2018 World Cup with ease, topping their group with an unbeaten record, finishing with 8 wins and 2 draws and a goal difference of +15. England got a pretty nice draw for the 2018 World Cup with their group stage. While Belgium was tough, they were predicted to be able to get through easily by beating Tunisia and Panama. This is what happened, as in their first game, it wasn't as easy as predicted, as it became a dramatic 2-1 victory over Tunisia. Harry Kane scored twice, and it was a stoppage time winner from him that saved England. In their second game against Panama, England really turned it on as they thrashed Panama 6-1. Kane scored a hat-trick, John Stones netted twice, and Jesse Lingard added a stunning long-range goal. This win was able to secure them a place in the knockout rounds with a match to go. In the final group stage game, they played Belgium. Southgate decided to rest several key players, which resulted in a 1-0 loss to Belgium. Despite the defeat, England advanced to the knockout rounds as the second-place team in Group G, setting up a favorable path in the tournament. England matched Colombia in the round of 16, which they drew 1-1 with a penalty being the only goal England scored. This match went to a penalty shootout, where England emerged victorious, breaking their penalty shootout curse at World Cups. In the quarterfinals, England got another favorable opponent, this time against Sweden, which they won 2-0. Maguire and Dele Alli were the goal scorers. Disciplined performances from England were enough for them to advance to the semifinals. In the semifinals, England matched their first tough team since they played Belgium in the group stage. England took an early lead against Croatia with an incredible free kick by Kieran Trippier. However, Croatia equalized and eventually won 2-1 after extra time. Despite the heartbreaking loss, this was England's best World Cup performance since 1990. Despite all of this, Southgate faced criticism from fans for his tactical decisions, especially during the semi-finals, for his substitutions not being timely and impactful enough, as fans felt that fresh legs could have helped freshen up the team and help them hold on to the game or turn the tide. Not only was his subs questioned, his tactics and lack of a plan B were also criticized. When the primary strategy of utilizing wingbacks and set pieces was not working, England appeared to struggle to adapt with a lack of a backup plan, going with the idea that England lacked creativity and an ability to create chances from open play against well-organized teams wasn't there. During this time, the majority of people were with Southgate, however, and he continued managing into the 2020/2021 European Championships. Southgate switched to a 4-2-3-1 formation during this tournament, switching it up from the 5-back formation he had been using prior. Despite changing from a 5 to a 4 at the back, England still continued to prioritize a strong defensive foundation over a free-flowing attack. Lucky for England, however, because they got another favorable group stage for them in the Euros 2020/2021 as well. In the first game, they played Croatia, the team that had knocked them out of the World Cup 3 years prior. This time, however, they got their revenge with a 1-0 victory, kicking off their tournament with a win. Raheem Sterling scored the only goal and England sat back and defended. The second group stage match was a goalless draw against Scotland. England struggled to break down a resolute Scottish defense, leading to criticism regarding the team's attacking creativity and intensity. In the final match, England secured the top spot in Group D as they got a 1-0 win against the Czech Republic. Raheem Sterling scored the decisive goal again to send them to the knockout stage. In the round of 16, England got a Germany side who hadn't been at their best, but were still a tough team to play. England were able to get the 2-0 win at Wembley Stadium. Raheem Sterling and Harry Kane were the goal scorers in the victory. Southgate switched to a 3 at the back during this game to neutralize the threat of Germany, and for this, he received praise for his tactical decisions. Continuing their ruthless form against Ukraine, England delivered a dominating performance in a resounding 4-0 win as England, for the first time in the tournament, showcased their attacking power. England later faced Denmark in the semi-finals and won 2-1 after extra time. It was an own goal and a penalty rebound needed to beat the well-organized Denmark team and send England to the final. In the final, England took an early lead through a Luke Shaw goal. However, Italy equalized in the second half through Leonardo Bonucci. The match ended 1-1 after extra time and went to a penalty shootout. England lost the final on penalties 3-1 with Rashford, Sancho, and Saka all missing their penalties. Throughout this tournament, many fans criticized Southgate's management, feeling it was time for a change. They didn't like the way he focused on defensive solidity over a free-flowing attack, especially with the players he has at his disposal. It was clear to see that they had a hard time breaking down well-organized defenses, which added to the Southgate hate. Not only that, they felt that he made awful choices during the penalty shootout, bringing on Rashford and Sancho to take penalties only to have them miss, and then having a young Saka taking a penalty when there were much more experienced players on the field to take penalties. Along with his in-game management, not making the right subs at poor times, waiting too late oftentimes, and the lack of proactive changes to regain control in the final when Italy was pressing heavily. Despite the hate coming his way, he led England to their first major tournament final since 1966, and he had brought them now to a World Cup semi-final and Euro final, and was now about to go to the World Cup in a year's time. The 2022 World Cup saw England with very high expectations, with fans wanting to finally win a trophy with the squad they had. The likes of Kane, Jude Bellingham, and Foden made up one of the best squads in the world, and fans believed it was finally their time. When the tournament kicked off, England made their presence known as they went on to beat Iran 6-2, showcasing their elite players' quality on the attack. They moved on to a tougher test against the United States, which ended in a goalless draw. England struggled to break down a well-organized U.S. side and lacked the cutting edge in the final third. In the third match against Wales, England showed their quality again as they beat Wales 3-0, securing a first-place finish in the group and advancing to the knockout stage. In the round of 16, England faced Senegal, a test but a team they should be beating, and that is what they did. They got the business done with a 3-0 win, with clinical finishing helping them move on, although fans still felt they played too defensively. They moved on to the quarterfinals where they matched previous World Cup winners France. England was eliminated in the quarterfinals after a 2-1 defeat to France. Kouamini scored an early goal for France. Kane equalized from the penalty spot, but Giroud scored the winning goal. Kane missed a second penalty and a chance to tie up the game late, sending France through to the semifinals. England lost another tournament. Now on to recent times with Euro 2024 in Germany. England sneaked by in one of the easiest groups in the tournament, topping the group with 5 points. While they might have only let up 1 goal, they only scored 2 goals, won 1 game, and drew 2 games. It's not only that, it's the performances they have been putting up, scoring a goal and then sitting back. Southgate has the top scorer in Germany, Real Madrid's top scorer and best player, Premier League winner Foden, Premier League winner and Arsenal's top player Saka, and the second top scorer in the Premier League and a guy with 33 goal contributions in the Premier League on the bench in Cole Palmer, and still cannot score goals to save your life. Should Southgate go? Or is his style of play of just finding a way to win what England needs?